Darren, are you scared?
I'm not scared of the Galaxy. No.
I have a quick question. Do the Galaxy have a pool in their fucking stadium? Because we do. We have a fucking pool. And so I'm not scared of these motherfuckers.
They have a lawn. They have a little lawn up above the seats in that one part of the stadium.
Well,
Oh, yes,
unless
a
you can
lawn.
drown in the lawn.
Yeah, it's life or
Next.
death when you come to an LAFC game. The stakes are high, okay?
Welcome to Happy Foot, Sad Foot, your LAFC gateway drug.
I'm Darren Miller.
And I'm Travis Helwig. Before we begin, I just want to quickly acknowledge the incredible Happy Foot, Sad Foot theme song, which was written for us by, I can't believe I'm saying this, James Valentine from Maroon 5, Nate Walcott from Bright Eyes, and Louis Palmer, one of the best jazz drummers in America. Truly insane that they did this for us. And we cannot thank you enough. I promise that will be the best part of the show.
Also, that is such a good song. Feel free to just go back and listen to the intro if you really want to. Thank you so much for checking out this first episode. Because it's our first episode, we want to quickly explain why we wanted to make the show, who we are. Travis and I have been friends for almost 2 decades now. That's insane. And we've been following the team since the day it launched. LAFC is all we talk about. Travis is a season ticket holder. I've watched most of the games on my iPad in my bathroom while hiding from my crying children in another room.
And because Darren and I are so passionate about the team, we've had a lot of friends reach out and ask how they could get into the team too. And we noticed there isn't necessarily a fast and fun and easily digestible show that people can understand at all levels of fandom. So that's what we're setting out to do here. We want to be the easiest way for new and old fans to understand exactly what storylines they need to follow before watching that week's game. Each of these episodes will hopefully be around 30 minutes, so you can listen on your way home from work or on your way to the game or whatever you want to do.
And then around 10 minutes after every game, we want to be home to an insane, dumb, chaotic live stream and call-in show where we can all vent or celebrate or just waste some time while waiting for your drink at the Sunset Club.
There's always long lines there. And I just want to be clear, we're not soccer experts. We're comedians. And, you know, we're not going to know the most about tactics or strategy or how to properly pronounce Stipe Buick. Stipe Buick.
Buick.
Look, we're not going to be the smartest show about LAFC, but we promise we will be the dumbest.
Every week, we're going to work really hard to make this the most fun place for new fans and old to hang out. And maybe one day we'll do such a great job, we'll get to meet Carl Jacob.
What a dream. What a dream come true that would be. Let's get right into it. On today's episode, we're going to preview the big storylines for the coming season. We're going to talk to Alex Abnos at The Athletic and learn what teams we got to watch out for this year. And then, like every week, we're going to make some bets. So let's get right into this fucking thing, Darren.
Okay, look, there are 2 types of people in this world. There's the type of people who work hard, who wake up at 5 a.m., feed and clothe their children, head off to work to make ends meet, to provide for their family. And then there are people like Travis. You know, people who roll out of bed at 10:30, spend 2 hours reading the LAFC subreddit, and spend the next 3 hours complaining about how there's not enough time in the day to get any work done. Then when he's done complaining, he heads to Sunset Tower to buy 2 martinis with his wife's credit card. But because not all of us have the luxury of being a trophy husband, we don't have time to learn every little detail about LAFC before the game. So each week, I'm going to make Travis, a true leash on society, explain to me the storylines for that week's game. But since this week is just a season preview episode, I want him to walk me through the storylines for the season in a segment we are very cleverly calling Storylines.
I want to thank the TikTok text-to-song feature for that incredibly hard-to-understand jingle. What they were saying is segment or storylines. These are the storylines. I want to thank Darren for such a warm and loving introduction. You truly are
you're welcome.
The king of the casuals, as I like to call you. Welcome to the LAFC 2023 season preview. Because I'm confident we have a few listeners who have never watched a single game of LAFC before, I'm going to talk to you, Darren, as if you've never watched a single LAFC game in your life. Okay, let's get right into it. The first storyline that everyone needs to understand is that we are the motherfucking MLS champions, baby. Okay. We won our first MLS Cup last year in what is roundly considered the best MLS Cup final of all time. So congratulations, Darren. You're a champion. We made
Thank
it,
you.
baby.
Writing this storyline down.
We also won our second supporter shield, which means we had the best regular season record in the whole league. And so the winning the title wasn't a fluke. We had the best record and we won the championship. We were very good. But that brings us to a very important point about this storyline for this season. Can we break the championship curse? It has been over a decade since a team has won back-to-back MLS Cup finals. And if you ask any LAFC fan, that's our main goal for the year. We want another fucking cup. But I'm a little worried. There's a curse, Darren.
Yeah, well, listen, I grew up in Boston. I'm sorry for any number of things.
Don't tell people that this early. Don't bring up Boston this early into episode 1.
Well, I say it because I have some experience as being part of a fandom dealing with a curse. And I'm here to say it's possible to overcome a curse. It's also possible to not be an asshole fan base while doing it. So, I mean, there's definitely some things we can learn from Boston fandom, good and bad, I would say.
The amount that I want to say to you is so much, but I want to keep the episode under 30 minutes. But just know that if this
secret question going into this was how long is it going to take us to argue about Boston?
and I'm not going to do it right now, Darren, but I want you to know I really want to. Here's why I'm a little worried about the curse, okay? Here's why. We lost a lot of players.
We need to come up with a list of like trigger words. Curse is definitely one of them.
Okay. The championship slump. I don't fucking know. Here's why I'm worried, Darren, okay? When your team wins a championship in MLS, you get stripped for parts. We lost a lot of players this winter. Here's who we lost. Yep. We lost Gareth Bale, who is one of the best players to have ever lived, and I'm pretty sure he was never on our team to begin with. We lost Christian Teo, a man who showed up, missed a penalty kick in the MLS finals, and then immediately left. We lost Latif Blessing, a huge fan favorite who's always worked hard, but often that hard work usually involved him sprinting around like a chicken with his head cut off until someone hip checked him and we got a free kick. That's going to get me in trouble. I know, everyone does. But let's just be honest, he didn't bring that much last year. But the most important player we lost, Darren, is Chicho Arango, which brings us to our second major storyline for this season. How do we replace Chicho Arango? Since Chicho joined the team, there was only one player in the entire league who scored more goals than him. He was our best goal scorer by far, and he was 100% not paid enough, and he wanted a better contract. He deserved it, and because of MLS's insanely complicated roster rules, we couldn't give it to him. And so he's gone.
Oof. Maybe episode 1 isn't the time to get into the insanely complicated roster rules, but I do want to learn more about that.
Well, I'll give you a little glimpse. In MLS, in order to sign more than 2 good players, you have to solve a Bridge Trolls riddle. And if you get the riddle wrong, you have to wear a pyramid scheme on your jersey for all of eternity. Last year, Chicho scored 21 goals, which is a lot to replace. So the question remains, where are these goals going to come from this season? Carlos Vela, our captain.
Yeah, you got to believe you got to go back to Vela.
He's the most important player that's ever played for the team. He is a step slower, and I just am curious what Carlos Vela we're going to get this season. Is it last year or is it the year before where he was injured the whole season and he just wasn't there? Last season he was great, and he was a great passer, and he learned how to adapt. The season before, I don't want that Carlos Vela, but I'm going to say something controversial, Darren.
Yeah, please.
This is Denny Bouanga's team. This is Denny Bouanga's team now.
His team?
This is his team, baby.
I would have said season. His team, my God. I mean, I love him. I love the guy.
He's in his prime.
He brings an energy to the team that very much is what we're losing with Chicho. Like Vela's like got skill and talent that you're right. It's like put it on his feet and he'll score. But like Chicho had this massive energy and feel to him that Bouanga's going to bring some of that for sure.
If I could figure out how to bet online, I would bet on him to win MVP this season. I think Denny Bouanga is going to score so many goals. And one thing he has that Chicho Arango doesn't have is that Denny Bouanga is very, very hot. And I think we can't lose sight of how hot
That's
he
important.
is.
That's very important. I think that's important as part of our team. It's important for the MLS. I think for the MLS as a league, soccer is a sport where the attractiveness factor is really, I would say, very crucial, probably more so than other sports. Yeah, I think that's huge.
Yeah.
You can't take that away from him. You can injure him, and it won't take it away from him.
If you're a new fan of the team or an old fan of the team, we can all agree. Denny Bouanga, you'll want to kiss him. And, finally, we have Mahala Opoku up front, who, has shown flashes is fun. But I'm really excited to see Stipe Buke. I believe that's how you say it, from Croatia. He's a golden boy. Michael Stipe from Croatia.
That's what it is. Yep.
I believe he's 11 years old. The best sign that I think that he's going to be good this season is that when we signed him, Croatian soccer Reddit was furious that he was coming to the MLS. They think he's a superstar. And I think that's a really good sign that he is going to be good.
Could also be a sign that they're just both, like, the Reddit population in Croatia and he are all tweens.
They're all friends from his Bible study group.
They're just all friends from school. Bible study group.
I don't know. But the whole of Chicho Arango up front, I think, is indicative of the last big storyline for the season, which is, do we have the depth to compete in all of the tournaments we have this year? Because not only do we have the regular season where we once again want to win the Supporter Shield and the MLS Cup, but because we won the MLS Cup last year, we get the honor of competing in the CONCACAF Champions League, where we play all the best teams on the continent. On top of that, we have to play in the U.S. Open Cup, where we have to compete against all tiers of major and minor league soccer in America. And now there's the brand new Leagues Cup in the middle of the summer, which happens to be a month-long tournament in which the MLS, every MLS team and every Liga MX team, which is the Mexican league, play to figure out which is the best club between the two leagues. I don't think at the moment we have the depth to perform in all of these.
This is seeming like a lot of work. I mean, did we sign up for all this stuff? It's just like we're overcommitting ourselves. You know what I mean? I think we're saying yes too much. We're a fairly new franchise. I think everyone's coming and they're like, it would be cool for you to be in our tournament or whatever. And we're like, oh yeah, that sounds fun because we want to be part of the community or whatever.
We need to learn how to say no.
When to hold back.
Yeah,
we're filling our schedule. We're overcommitted. We're too busy. We got to focus. We're doing too many things.
It is funny to imagine this in other sports. It's funny to imagine LeBron James at All-Star break being like, well, now you also have to play 30 games against the Italian teams. Good luck.
Yeah, that would be insane. I mean, as a fan, that would be really fun. I get why it's happening. I will watch those games.
But here's why I don't think we have the depth, okay? I already talked about the front line. I think our back line is actually pretty good. We added Aaron Long. We have Chiellini, we have Aaron Long and Murillo all in the center. We brought back Ryan Hollingshead. We have I think we probably have one of the best back lines in the league. But our midfield, we have three really good midfielders. Our starting midfield is probably one of the best in the league. We have Ilya Sanchez, Kellen Acosta, Jose Cifuentes. Behind them are a bunch of deeply untested people. Cifuentes is probably going to get moved in the summer to Europe. I don't know who's going to replace him right now.
That.
We if any of them go down and we have to give big minutes to anyone behind them, it's scary. I don't know who can take over for them currently. Maybe I'll be surprised by these new signings like Tillman and Crisostomo, who Crisostomo also 11 years old.
Travis, we're signing a lot of kids.
Well,
is that weird? Is that okay?
MLS is really worried about being a retirement league, so they've overcompensated.
Hey, you know what, Travis? What if they're good? What if they're all good, Travis? You ever think of that?
That's a good point. I do think we're still the favorites to win MLS Cup again. It just hasn't happened in a long time. But that is my 2023 season preview. We're an incredible team.
Goodness.
If we want to break the championship curse, we got to find a few new players to get some depth and do it pronto. When we come back, we're going to learn about other teams in the league that we got to be scared of with Alex Abnos from The Athletic. And we're back. He's worked at Sports Illustrated, The Wall Street Journal, and is currently a managing editor for U.S. Soccer at The Athletic. Please welcome my old boss at our college radio station, Alex Abnos. How you doing, Alex?
I'm doing okay. How are you guys? I forgot I was your boss at the radio station. Wow. I mostly remember being at the newspaper and us covering your comedy troupe and using the headline "LOL OMFG haha" as like the headline profiling Recess. But that's pretty good. I prefer the other one.
Yeah, I feel like the radio station makes you sound cooler than the newspaper.
Okay, yeah, sure. That's an opinion that I don't take any offense from based on my current profession at all. That's totally fine.
No, listen, journalists are cool. We all agree. Journalists are cool.
Here we go. Yeah.
Oh,
I
man,
certainly
Travis. Oh, boy. This is not going well.
We're off to a good start.
Yeah, we'll keep getting good guests after this. You're a Kansas City fan, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, I grew up in Kansas City. I've been going to Kansas City. They were the Wiz when I started going in 1996, and I was 10 years old. They have since upgraded a little bit to Sporting Kansas City and the Wizards before that. So yeah, I mean, being a journalist means I'm not as much of a rah-rah fan as I once was, but they're my team.
And I think I speak for all of us when I want to know, is Kansas City in Missouri or Kansas?
The eternal question. Yes is the answer. The answer is yes.
Great.
It's in both.
It's both, right?
Yeah. We got
It's
two.
one Kansas City. Is it two Kansas Cities or is it one Kansas City that spans two states?
Oh, it's two Kansas cities. And there's a million other cities that are like part of Kansas City. When you refer to Kansas City, you're probably referring to like 8 cities in one. It's actually not that different from Los Angeles. But the difference being is that like there are 2 Kansas cities. There's a Kansas City, Kansas, which is where Sporting Kansas City plays, and then Kansas City, Missouri, which is where the Royals and Chiefs play. It's a very normal and easy for people to understand.
Okay, enough about Kansas City, a thing I don't actually care about. Let's do the segment. Something that many of you may not know is that Major League Soccer consists of not just LAFC, but other teams as well. And it's hard to believe, but it's true. And while we wish we could just watch our team play clones of itself, unfortunately, we have to face squads from disgusting, terrible places like Salt Lake City and St. Louis and the primordial hellscape known as Carson. And because there are so many teams to learn about before the start of the season, we thought we'd make someone smarter do the dirty work for us in a segment we're calling We're Not Scared, You're Scared. Here's how it works. Alex is going to tell us all about all the teams that aren't LAFC that might have a chance to dethrone us as champions. But since we can't hear about other teams for that long without throwing up, he has only 30 seconds to convince us to be scared of each team. When he's done with them, we'll let him know if we're scared or not. Alex, are you ready?
I am. I picked mostly Western Conference teams for very legitimate reasons. There are a couple Eastern ones in there. I think that I have 5 solid candidates, and I just can't wait to hear you rip all these apart.
Well, I want you to know we're going to give it a fair shot. Maybe we'll be scared. We'll see. We'll see. All right, on the count of 3. Ready? 3,
sure.
2, go.
The LA Galaxy, your favorite team in the world. I'm sorry to say, but that team just has y'all's number sometimes. In the regular season, the Galaxy has won 6 of 14 meetings with 5 draws. The LAFC won 3 of those in the playoffs. Granted, y'all are crushing it. You won both those games. But who knows? It's the playoffs. They're using a 3-5-2 formation this year with Chicharito and Dejan Joveljic up top. Those are 2 really good forwards, and previously they had to use one or the other. Now they're using both. They've adjusted tactically, and Greg Vanney, their head coach, has shown that he can be the builder of a winning team. That's over 30 seconds, but starting off on the right foot, I think, for y'all.
Oof.
Darren, are you scared?
I don't know. Travis, I have to say, no, I'm not scared. I'm not scared of the Galaxy. No.
I have a quick question. Do the Galaxy have a pool in their fucking stadium? Because we do. We have a fucking pool, and so I'm not scared of these motherfuckers.
They have a lawn. They have a little lawn up above the seats in that one part of the stadium.
Well,
oh yes,
unless you
lawn.
can drown in the lawn.
Yeah, it's life
Next.
or death when you come to an LAFC game. The stakes are high. Okay.
Moving on. I can't believe you did this to us right off the bat. You're never invited back. 3,
I'm pretty
2,
thrown off.
1, next.
Austin FC, they have a preseason MVP candidate in Sebastian Driussi, who is also an MVP candidate last season. Josh Wolf is a good young coach. He has another year under his belt, and he's had the freedom to shape the roster how he wants because Claudio Reyna is no longer sporting director there. Their forwards aren't flashy, but they've proven to be effective. Giassi Zardes, Maxi Arruti, Will Bruin. Again, not flashy, but they can score goals. They upgraded the backline, and have one of the better goalkeepers in MLS in Brad Stuver.
Oof. I mean, it sounds like a good team. They seem fine. So what? Tell me more about them. Like, what's the name of their Falcon? They released a Falcon before the game, right?
They don't have a Falcon.
They don't have a
They will
Falcon.
argue. How about this? They'll argue all day that their tacos are better.
As convincing as your actual analysis may have been, that sounds really tame.
I may be an imperfect vehicle for Austin fans, but I do think they have a good team.
Well, their breakfast tacos are good, but their
breakfast
soccer
tacos.
team can eat my asshole. Alex.
You guys are leaving Matthew McConaughey versus Will Ferrell like completely on the table here.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You know, I love Days of Confused. I like and you know what? I don't hate the new Austin kid.
We have
as much as
nothing
other
but
people
respect for celebrity ownership. We won't go there.
Wow.
That's one
All
thing
right.
we love in Los Angeles is a token celebrity who owns a small amount of the team.
I don't see any problem.
All right,
there.
let's hit up the next. Let's hit up the next one. Go.
Seattle Sounders, they are just reliably good, and they're bringing back everybody that has been reliably good for so long. Literally, they've been good since the moment they entered the league in 2009. They are not in CONCACAF Champions League this year, which was kind of their undoing last year, so they should be able to maintain a decent level through the season. They're probably in the running with y'all for the best midfield unit in MLS with Nico Lodero. João Paulo is now back from ACL surgery, and Albert Rusnak. Also, nobody likes playing at CenturyLink Field because the turf is terrible and the crowd is loud.
Oh, another team, Alex, another team with a celebrity owner that owns a very small amount in the name of Drew Carey. And I got to say, I love the Drew Carey show. I don't necessarily know if their team, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but has Justin Bieber ever gone to an MLS Cup final that they were in? Alex, I'm not sure. Do you know if he...
To the best of my knowledge, no. I think the best we get is Macklemore at Sounders games.
Well... Thank you,
wow.
man.
Macklemore and Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
What? That's the SAT question of like Macklemore is to Justin Bieber as Drew Carey is to Will Ferrell.
That seems right, actually.
Yeah. I don't like how natural that was.
It fits a little too well. Now I feel like I just straight up insulted people.
I mean, I'm not too worried about Drew Carey hearing this podcast, so I think you're.
I'm pretty worried about it. I think he'll listen.
Drew Carey's a nice guy. He buys fans beer. It's all good. It's all good with me and Drew Carey. I don't know if Will Ferrell's ever done that.
They're not going to be happy with me.
Alex, I'm not fucking scared. Next, let's go into the next one. I don't have anything else to say in this tone where I'm being an asshole. Go.
FC Cincinnati. I can't believe I'm saying this about this team. They were so bad for so long, but they seem to have the makings of a really solid team now after a couple of years rebanking the roster. In Brenner and Brandon Vasquez, they have a really solid 1-2 punch up top. Both scored 18 goals last season. It's insane to have one player score 18 goals. They have two, and they're their starting strikers. Luciano Ocasio is one of the best playmakers in MLS. And defensively, they've got some work to do, but if they can make even a little bit of progress there, they have every chance of making it to MLS Cup, where they might beat LAFC.
Cincinnati?
I know.
Really?
It's by
You are
far my
scraping
biggest
the bottom of the
reach.
barrel at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
That was us just genuinely being assholes about it. No way.
Yeah, the other ones were like, yeah, I could see it. This one we're like, wait, you're an expert?
Yeah, this segment of this particular podcast is going to sound actually very good at the end of the season when FC Cincinnati continues to be FC Cincinnati and, I don't know, never win any games.
I do think what's funny about Cincinnati to me is like, I would be I don't want them to win, but I would be sort of proud of them if they did.
I know.
I'd be excited about that.
Yeah.
I like Cincinnati.
Honestly, part of the reason I mentioned them is because they are like the equivalent of an NBA League Pass team, like a team that's just so exciting. Like they play, no defense is played. It's 5-4 games all the time, and who doesn't love those games? So sometimes those teams are good, and it's amazing when they are. So it's more hope than anything.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get to the final one that we're not afraid of.
Oh, okay. Speaking of making it to MLS Cup, this one is going to be easier. The Philadelphia Union. They're not really weak anywhere. They have one of the best coaches in the league in Jim Curtin. They've proved over the last 2 years that they can miss a bunch of pieces over the course of a season and still keep rolling, so injuries won't decimate them in the same way that they will other MLS teams. They'll be hungry because, I don't know if you guys remember this, but they were a Gareth Bale miracle away from winning it last year, and they returned most of that same group. In the East, they're pretty clearly going to be the big threat to LAFC, and I think you should be very scared indeed.
Darren, what do you think? Are we scared?
I'm going to say I'm not scared. No, they were a Gareth Bale miracle and a few PKs that they couldn't seem to hit. away, I would say.
I'd say Philadelphia has a pretty bad track record winning championships, so I'm not going to necessarily bet the house on them. I'll also say I did hear this superstar coach that you mentioned also say that he would happily become the assistant coach of U.S. soccer if asked, which now he definitely will be asked to do. Like, he's not going to be the coach by the end of the season if you already agreed before contract negotiations to be the assistant coach. What a bad negotiation tactic by Jim Curtin. They're going to be not that good. I think Philadelphia Union are going to regress, and I think LAFC will not tie in a single game this season. We're going to win every game.
Yeah.
Alex, thank you so much for being here. If people liked the really dumb things you had to say, where would they find you if they wanted to support you or follow you? How would they find your work, and how would they follow you?
Yeah, so they would find all of my excessively dumb things that I have to say on my Twitter account, which is at @Abnos, at least for now, until it explodes as an entire site in the next 2 weeks. Sure. And also, so I work for The Athletic. We are at The Athletics Soccer, which I should say is spelled SCCR because we hate vowels. On Twitter, and we're a subscription site. We have a whole staff of people that are really excited to come cover MLS this year, and all sorts of writers doing all sorts of great coverage. So check us out.
Alex, thank you so much for being here. We genuinely are very, very happy to see you. When we come back, let's make some bets.
And we're back. Now it's time for a segment called Bet It and Forget It.
Bet it and forget it.
Thank you. Every week, Travis and I are going to end the show with a bet for this week's game. We'll make an outlandish prediction for that week, something that almost definitely will not happen, but could. You never know, okay? It's got to be a long shot bet. Each week, we both put up $5. If no one hits, the money rolls over to the next week, and eventually, by the time someone's weird prediction comes true, they might win a good chunk of change. But since this week there is no game, we're going to predict some team news that might occur before next week's season opener. And of course, we'll have another prediction and bet for next week's season opener as well. So Travis, what's your bet for some team news this week?
I didn't necessarily go with team news for my bet, but I think it's okay. And my bet is that
Travis, we have a long precedent of a very specific track record for the types of bets that we make.
I know our long-term fans are going to be disappointed.
It's going to be okay.
Look, my prediction is that
the Happy Foot Sad Foot diehards are really going to
before next week's podcast drops, I am going to run into Mahala Opoku at Vaughn's. I am going to see Mahala Opoku at Vaughn's. And I'm realizing as I say this, I actually don't go to Vaughn's.
Actually, this is
I go to Gelson's. I got to go. Okay, at a grocery store. We're going to
You should have said
grocery
Gelson's.
store.
Yeah, grocery store. That's still outlandish enough. For sure. Can you imagine if you said Vaughn's and stuck to it and then did run into him at Gelson's?
Oh, that would suck. And I wouldn't. But I kind of don't want to win the money now. I want to win it later.
I'm so sorry, Travis. It was Gelson's. Oh, yeah, that would be great. It's like, oh, you won the first one.
What's your prediction?
That's actually, I think, a perfect bet. I think that's a really good bet. I just want to comment on yours first and say, chef's kiss. This is what we want to see. Because not only is it's outlandish, but of course you can't say it's impossible. And how cool would it be if it happened?
Amazing.
Also, it would be cool if it happened, but it's way cooler that it happened and you predicted it.
Yeah, it would almost seem like he listened.
People listening, do you understand what a prediction is? Yeah. All right, here's my bet. My bet is, for anybody paying attention this past week, the away kits leaked for LAFC, and they look like we're going to make the team go swimming in cartoon nuclear waste as a jersey. Some people are liking them. Some people are trying to pretend that they're liking them.
That's most.
They came with some good warm-up gear that was like actually awesome. And then the kits are just disgusting and terrible. So my bet this week is wishful thinking that they're gonna pull back and issue a statement that's just like, oh no, those aren't the away kits. Those are like alternate kits. Those aren't real.
So you think your prediction is that they are going to force Adidas in 2 weeks to come up with a new away kit for the team?
Well, I'm thinking that there must be an alternate kit. There must be like a third kit that they could now say is the Can you? The alternate kit is usually when teams get more experimental and do like a more fun thing. If this is the away kit, what the fuck is the alternate kit?
I mean, like we always have like a middle of the season. There's like a kit that's like made of recycled turtle bones or whatever. Like there's always like a like we believe in the environment kit or something. So they could just release that early for us. But I do think like
the Inspired kit,
Darren, I do think it's important that you're talking shit about the kit because I don't want people to think that we're going to come on here and love everything about the team. I think I speak for both of us when I say I fucking don't like the kit. Maybe it'll look better on people. I'm still going to buy it because I want to buy every kit that the team makes. But like,
yeah, that's a problem. That's an addiction, and that's something that you can get help for separately.
Well,
that's
we already established that it's not my money; it's my wife's money, so it's fine. Okay, we shall see if either of those predictions come true. Darren, take it away.
Before we go, we want to remind you that we'll be live streaming about 10 minutes after every game while our blood is still pumping too hard to re-enter normal society appropriately. The after party will go live on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/@happyfoot. There's a link in the show notes. If you don't want to type it in, say hi in the chat. We'll post a link to join us in our remote studio so you can call into the show during the live broadcast. That's a thing we know how to do because we're both secretly nerds.
No, I don't know how to do it. Don't put it on me. That's our show. We want to thank our incredible guest, Alex Abnos at The Athletic. Our theme music is done by the insane team of James Valentine, Nate Walcott, and Louis Palmer. Please like and subscribe to this podcast and leave us a review. It genuinely really helps if you leave us a review and you follow us. You can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. And if you enjoyed the show and have friends that are LAFC curious, please spread the word. We're going to be doing this entirely on our own dimes, out of our love for the team. So any new listeners will go a long way to help us feel the love.
We'll see you at BMO, baby.
See you at BMO. I love you. Wait, we should tell everyone we love them at the end of the... I love you.
I think that's... I love you. Goodbye. I love you.
I love you. Bye.